a traitor to myself, I be. I'm pushing the limits, I'm testing my luck, and just like a letter, I will self-destruct. Traitor to myself, I be. Internal combustion, chewing the leash, severe repercussions at the very least. Kamikaze, I did a volunteer. Kamikaze, I didn't even mean to interfere.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this glorious evening as we embark on our journey on the road to glory.
What's up, party people? What's going on tonight? What's cracking? Welcome to ride number 4 on the road to glory. Seen a bunch of peeps already in the chat. That gets me excited. Hey-o. And I just want to throw out a shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. This is ride number 4 on the road to glory. I'm your host, Dave Axis, in case you don't know who I am. And we've got a lot to talk about tonight, folks. We got our game coming up with Houston. We're going to recap that Florida-LA game that we talked about last week. We got Gunny. We got Bullet. We got the franchise. We got Yogi. We got Nate. We got Mike All. We got all kinds of stuff. And the challenge, the goal tonight is to wrap it up in an hour and a half. So somebody keep me on the clock. Speaking of on the clock, the guy who keeps me on the clock all the time, let me introduce him real quick. He is my very good friend and owner of the Lone Star Glory, Mr. Charles Doherty. Charles, what's up? Welcome back tonight. How you doing, bro?
Good evening, Diva. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing very well. What'd you do this week since we didn't have a game, bro? Did you enjoy your bye week or what's up?
I can say that I was united with other members of the LSG locker room with the fact that we did not watch gridiron action in this particular sim league during the bye week.
Wow. You guys just took like a whole week off, huh?
Yeah, we needed it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Did I take the week off? I don't know. I always feel like I'm busy. I don't know, bro. I always feel like I got something going on. I don't know, man. But, well, let's see. What do I'd like to start the show off every week with you and I just shooting the BS a little bit real quick before we get to the party people. And I wanted to ask you what you thought about the Lone Store. The Lone Store is doing very well. And I see that you have made another graphic for the Lone Store this week. Would you like to explain this one to the people watching?
The great thing about Lone Star is that our players just embrace the different items that are on the website. And here we see Yogi doing what he loves to do, fishing, spear fishing.
Yeah, he does.
With the bucket hat on. This one it happens to be the from the Axis Apparel portion of the website, but. Fits well on his head, and he's just out there enjoying the sun with that active wear, just having a good time.
Yeah, and look, dude, I didn't know Yogi was so buff. Did you?
Yeah, he's been doing push-ups or something.
Apparently,
he's chasing those steers around or whatever he has, Angus.
I guess that's what happens when you're a defensive end in the SFL. I guess you're a big boy. I don't know. I don't know.
He's ready for the season.
Oh man! All right, folks. Real quick before Charles opens up introduces our red corner and our blue corner for tonight. Let me just remind you, we had a bye this week. We played DC in week 3. We've got Houston coming up in week 5, so we will have one or two peeps from the Hyenas coming on and showing a couple of clips of their game. They also had a bye, so we've got some clips from week 3 of them just to kind of show some strengths of the Houston Hyena team. That being said, Charles, you want to take it away for the introductions, my friend?
All right. Well, let's introduce our star in the red corner, making a name for himself on the field, taking interceptions to the end zone for touchdowns, also killing it in the broadcast booth. He also has the largest goddamn couch in the league. And sometimes he mentions his lovely wife, Kendra. Nate Dogg!
Not very often, though. Are you muted?
Just trying to be less and less of that going on. Since she has enough going on for herself in the SFL this season on her own, doing things at the top of the wide receiver category as far as yards. She doesn't need me to hype her up.
There you go. Charles, before you actually introduce the person in the blue corner, did you want to say something else?
Oh, also, well, we were planning on having Coach Albert begin on tonight, but unfortunately, he's dealing with some stuff off the field, and the entire Begin family is in our prayers while he's going through these trying times.
Yeah. So everybody thinking of and praying for the Begin family during this time. We don't want to publicize their private business on this show. So if you know them or what have you, you can always reach out to them, shoot them a DM, and just let them know you're thinking of them. So, but we did. It was tough. It was tough, Charles. But we were able to finally find somebody to fill in for Albert at the very last second. It was very taxing in trying to hunt somebody down, but we got lucky. So
not just anyone.
Not just anyone.
Not just. Are we ready?
We're ready, bro.
Is the music playing?
Bum, 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 bum.
Number 44 on the field. Number 1 cornerback for Lone Star Glory. Number 1 in our hearts, the silky smooth voice of Bo Martin Jr.
What's up, Bo? How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen, and good evening to the rest of the SFL. It is a glorious Wednesday evening, and I'm so happy to be here. Prayers out to the Begin family, and it is a privilege and an honor to fill in to for Albert Begin.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for filling in, and you already threw Nate in the Matrix once. What's up?
Wouldn't be me if I didn't, Dave.
I know. All right, let's check out the peeps in the chat, the party peeps. Let's see who's here tonight. Eagle Mondavi is in the house. Wink is in the house. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa is in the house. My favorite quarterback in the whole wide world, Ace Fennick. Art Vandalay, Axel Raven, Bob Funk, Bo Martin Jr. Hey, Bo Martin Jr., you're in 2 places at once. How is that possible, Bo Morpheus Jr.? Let's see. Bullet Boletsky. Kevin Say is here. Kevin, we're not talking any more stuff about you, so you don't have to tune in if you don't want to. Deuce FedEx in the house. Gunny is here. Ike McBride. Viva La France is in his house. Kendra Hall. Mike All. Packer Fred. My boy Dave in San Antonio, Texas. Pseudo Nikai. That's what she said. My favorite name, I think, to say when we're doing all of this. Frank the Franchise Wade is here, and then it looks like who just popped in. I just saw somebody that was David Harrell. There you go. David Harrell in the house as well. Welcome everybody again to ride number 4 on the road to glory. And this is our panel for tonight, and we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get to it. We start every episode off. We have several different segments each show. Where we bring in friends of LSG from around the SFL, and we begin every show, and you guys know who it is. He's the guy who takes all the crazy, stupid, embarrassing stuff we did last show and then reminds us of it and broadcasts it back to all of you. So let me welcome Bullet Boletsky back to the show. Bullet, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Dave? Happy to be here as usual.
great to have you. And tonight, dude, we must have had a good show last week because you got 6 bullet points. You got the whole 6-shooter action coming on tonight. What's up?
Yeah. I heard you wanted to try to make the show a little longer, so I'm doing everything in my power to not make that happen.
That's exactly right. I love how people listen to me around here. It's just perfect. All right. With that being said, Bullet, as Danny J. Rock 37 jumps in the house real quick, Bullet, why don't you take it away and let's go to bullet number 1.
Okay, bullet number 1. Okay, so Charles' questionable show attire continued as his puffy and rather large knit hat and glasses made him look like a crime composite sketch.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I got kind of a weird informal inquiry from the FBI after the show. I don't know what that was all about, but I was like, I don't even know who that guy is. He doesn't look like Charles. He must have kidnapped Charles and jumped in there. I don't know what happened, bro, but I'm with you.
That was our former owner.
I'm with you on that one.
Did I say that?
Oh, did you say that? Did you say that out loud? Did you say that out loud? All right, bullet point number 2, buddy.
Okay, in response to Dave questioning Charles about the Week 4 defensive game plan, which resulted in DC putting up a 50-burger, Charles, apparently pulling from personal experience, said, "It was like I went to Vegas and came back with no clothes on." I'll just leave that there.
I bet Kevin Say, who's in the house right now, loved that 50-burger comment, but I think we should just leave that there right now. Let's move on to bullet point number 3.
Okay, in true diva fashion, Dave was in full taunting and mockery mode of Albert Begin's two hands, Dave mantra. During the game, Dave caught a TD pass and ran 60 yards while having the audacity to cover up the ball with 2 hands, even though there was no one within 15 yards of him. Albert Begin was beside himself. Amazing how Dave can actually piss off a teammate while actually doing the right thing. Look for a spirited week of practice between these two down in Lone Star.
All I can say, it's a gift. And I did look really cool, though. Didn't I look really cool running down the field with the ball in front of me with one hand under it and one hand over? Because that's how they teach you in college.
In Pee Wee.
In Pee Wee, exactly. Bullet point number 4.
Bo Morpheus Jr., when asked about the Lone Star defensive game plan against DC, said, "If you take away 5 or 6 big offensive plays from DC, it was a dominant performance by the Lone Star defense. Only a skilled word master and wizard of the Matrix can tell the audience that a defense was dominant after giving up a 50-burger and actually convincing them that it's true. All hail Bo."
Boom. Attaboy, Bo. Love that. Love it. Moving on to bullet point number 5.
Okay, this is from my boy Doyle. So Doyle was very slow to respond to every single one of Dave's questions, and no one was buying Doyle's explanation that he was collecting his thoughts. The speculation was that college boy Doyle was falling asleep at the mic after either a long night at the campus kegger where he was trying to convince the ladies that he was actually the starting fullback on a real football team, or he had just finished a marathon study session with his nerd friends for an upcoming calculus exam. I think Dave should create a poll and let the audience decide that one.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do that. We can put that in the Discord server. All right, last but not least, bullet point number 6.
Number 6. Okay, this is my personal favorite. When discussing possible SFL expansion teams and names in the chat, Bo had my favorite suggestion by far. The Idaho No Utahos. Well done, Bo. Well done.
Dude, I heard Bo's name a lot, and a lot of things rhyme with Bo, including ho. Just saying Idaho, Utah, everybody to ho.
Oh.
That's awesome. Bullet, love having you here, bro. Thanks for doing this each and every week. We love it. It's great, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Pleasure, Dave.
All right, take care.
Good game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, as you remember, last week we had some Florida and LA peeps on. We're still waiting for the LA person. I think Sully was supposed to come back. I do not see him in the chat yet. Art Vandelay is with us, though. But before we get to Art and potentially Sully in the chat, let's just a quick reminder, Florida won this game 24-10. One of the things that we'll talk about, and we talked about it with Sully last week, Charles, is the one thing he couldn't do was really throw a lot of interceptions. And I guess even if the other team throws a lot of interceptions, if you throw a lot of interceptions, I guess it doesn't really matter, because even though Cochran threw 4 and Sully threw 4, the score does not really reflect that.
Right, you're absolutely right. But when I look at this game, I see a game of two halves. Florida came out and just dominated the first half, and if LA was playing as well as they did in the second half for the entire game, we could have had a different outcome. But game plan, I was looking through the film before coming on. Art and Ben really put good plans together for Florida. I mean, it's I tip my cap to both of them. That was a good preparation, and you love it when you're a coach and you see your team execute like that on the field. I know there were some interceptions that in some cases you can't avoid, but man, there were some plays that really were well chosen.
Yeah, it's staying on the defensive side of the ball. We got two defenders here from Lone Star. Nate, let me start with you. One of the guys in Florida, I don't remember who it was, had 3 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it 3? Or maybe it was 2. I don't remember. All I remember is I'm watching the highlights, and it's just pick after pick after pick, and even back-to-back plays on the highlights at least. Florida intercepts the ball, throws it right back to LA. I mean, what a crazy game! But how, as a defensive player, how great would it be for you to be involved in a game with 8 interceptions?
That's the kind of game that if you're on defense, you kind of hope for. You're just waiting in the backfield, waiting on those footballs to get thrown your way, and hopefully you can make the play to take the ball away back for your offense. Definitely good job by both defenses really in the second half of getting those turnovers to help their teams out.
Yeah, absolutely. Bo, in the chat real quick, Axel Raven said it's what you do with the INTs that matter. Danny J Rock 37 saying you can get 7 in a game, but if you go 3 and out, it won't even matter. I mean, really that's what it is, right? You could throw 10 interceptions and it really doesn't matter. It depends on what the other team does with the ball.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Dave, because I was I was doing my research here before the game, and if you look at the stats, nothing huge jumps out from Florida, right? They had a little bit more total yards because they had a better running day by Bullet Bolesky, and a few more passing yards too, but nothing as far as like for first down percentage. LA won that battle. As far as like fourth down percentage, LA won that battle. So, there's a lot of things that both teams did well, and they both screwed up equally if you look at it, the interceptions. But when it came down to it, Dave, Florida just executed. When they got their opportunity to offer those turnovers, it's all about the execution. And like you said, it doesn't matter how many interceptions you get. If you're going 3 and out, it's irrelevant. So kudos to Florida for having a less sloppy game.
Yeah. I mean, Cochran threw 3 touchdowns, but he threw for 4 picks. So, and we always say, we used to say before legend settings that it's hard to win a game if your quarterback throws more interceptions than touchdowns. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Charles, were you about to say something else?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Florida was sloppy in the second half, but at that point they were already up. I don't recall. Maybe they threw an interception late in the first half. I don't recall if they did that in the first quarter, but they had a pretty good lead going in. And another thing, I hate, I'm not I'm not a fanboy for Florida by any means. I respect what they do.
Right.
One of the things that also stood out when you look at the stats is Boletsky. He didn't have a rushing touchdown, but he had 80, 90 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And he had 100 yards rushing. So they used him they got every juice out of that orange as they could.
Yeah.
And you can't say that for the LA side. I mean, the LA has got a superstar running back, and when he gets running, I think that the wins follow.
Well, we have Art Vanderlei in the house, and he's going to jump on in just a moment. But before we have Art on, let's check out just a couple quick highlights, about a minute-long video from the Florida-LA game that I think kind of wraps up what we've been talking about here so far.
Playing up, which is pretty good. Watch the middle of the field.
Cochran, play action, fires over the middle. He's open. Touchdown, Florida Storm. They get on the board first after a very methodical drive. Press coverage on the line. Cochran under pressure, fires, and that one's picked off. Ryan Proster with the interception out midfield.
Now, see, that was well. They were playing, looks like man, and the pressure got to Cochran with just 4 people, and that's what you got to do if you can.
Against Carolina, we'll see what they do on this one. Richardson back to throw deep down the left-hand side, and that one's taken away. Returning it the other way past midfield to the 40, to the 30, almost tackled by Terrence Wary.
Evan Carroll, he's seen this song and dance before. Corner route, short, picks off the ball, starts screaming down the sidelines. Luckily tackled by...
All right. So, I mean, it was like back and forth, back and forth. Art Vandelay is in the house, as well as Sully just jumped in. So let me bring in Art first. Art, welcome back to the show, bro. It's been a minute. How you doing? How you been? What's going on?
I'm good, Dave. Thank you for having me on. Hello to everybody on the panel and all the peeps out there.
Appreciate you coming on the show tonight to talk about this game. Before we ask any specific questions, give us just kind of your personal overview of what went down this past weekend.
Well, I think Charles said it earlier. It was a game of 2 halves, and our team, the Florida Storm, was really buzzing in the first half, and we took a big lead and kind of coasted in the second half. We had at the last play of the first half, we had a Hail Mary.
Yeah,
50-something yards that Ron Cochran hit E.J. Minson, which put us up by about 3 touchdowns at that point. And I got a feeling that the AI kind of does stranger things after you get a 3-touchdown lead. So our game plan kind of changed in the second half a little bit. But, luckily for us in that first half, we were just buzzing on offense especially.
Gotcha.
Did you just say AI?
Yeah,
did he say something about AI?
He did. Be careful, Art.
You got the 5-second rule to take it off the plate.
Sully is in the house. Sully Richardson, the quarterback for LA, back on the show. Sully, welcome back, bro. Thanks for being here again. How you doing, man? Oh, we lost Sully. He jumped out. He might have been. I think he was muted, or he might have been having that gunny issue. We'll see. Art, let's stick with you then, real quick. Nate or Bo, do either of you guys have a question for Art before I ask him something?
Let me ask. So, Art, what you guys managed to pull this one out, and against no slouch of a team in the like, and so, but let me ask you, what do you guys do to kind of clean up some of the messiness that took place to straighten you guys out? What's your strategy?
I mean, you got to understand, Bo, the 2 safeties that the Lycans have, 2 gold safeties in Colston and Joseph, 2 real good players. So you're going to get, the good with the bad. And, Ron throws the ball. So, we try to get it downfield sometimes. And when you try to get it downfield, they get paid too. We do have to clean some of that up and, run the ball consistently with Bullet, who is the biggest weapon and the safest area. He had almost 200 yards of total offense. Every time he touches the ball, it's 7 or 8 yards. So that makes a big difference in an offense.
Nate, you got something?
I didn't really have a question. I was just going to say, as I was watching that game, I noticed that they really took the safeties out of their game plan of LA, especially in the first half, because they focused more on getting Bullet the ball, whether it be in the running game or they pretty much lived off of that screen pass, and especially in the first and second quarters. And he got big gains out of those plays, if I remember correctly. One of them that went for a touchdown. So it was just a great job of making the safeties not hurt them so much.
All right.
I appreciate it, Nate. We work on the game plan, and Ben does a great job of putting together a game plan that's going to fit the situation. They have real strong safeties and cornerbacks that aren't as strong. So, we attack the edges in this particular game at this time, And again, that's Ben really just comes up with a game plan on offense, and we kind of get out of each other's way. We help each other when we need to, but we understand that we think we know what we're doing, and we put the work in to try to get it right.
Hey, Art, before I throw it to Charles to see if he wants to ask anything or make another comment, were you surprised at how lopsided the first half was and and really the 24-10 2-touchdown win at the end of the game over LA?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have a hell of a team. They have a very good offense, and they have a really good defense, and they got players, man. They know they're well coached, and they're a good team. To jump out on anybody in the SFL by that amount of score, 20, 21 points or whatever it is huge, and not really expected at any time, I don't think.
Charles, you got anything for Art?
Just one question. First score was looked like a slant route to Doyle, where he lined up in the slot. Is that something that the first time you showed that, or have you done it in previous weeks? I haven't watched it any of the earlier games.
That's a package that Ben runs, I would say, regularly. Not that there's a million plays in there in that package or not, but it is an empty package that we run. And Doyle makes plays on the outside, believe it or not. He catches the ball, and we see it in practice a lot. So he just had the opportunity in the end zone, and he caught that slant. He was open, and he caught it. And it was a great throw by Ron. Waited for the guy.
It was interesting because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
No. I was just saying he waited for him to come open and threw a strike where he had to.
It was interesting because the first time you ran it, he was wide open, but it looked like LA adjusted to it because you ran it a couple more times in the game. The wide receiver doing the out route was wide open, so it was kind of like pick your poison on that play.
Yeah, that's a play that's got several options to it, so we like to use that formation. Kind of helps us out. It's got several options, different ways to go for Ron to go with the ball.
Hey, Art, we're going to do something a little different tonight. Usually we wrap up this segment and then we go to Nate for the plays of the week, but because it's your game, I'd like you to stick around through the plays of the week, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about those before we let you go. Are you cool with that?
Yes, sir. Go
okay.
ahead.
I also just got an emergency message over the SFL Emergency Network that a special message for Art Vandelay that Elsie says hello.
Awesome. She's my favorite niece of all time, so I love Elsie.
I figured. All right, that being said,
that's why you see her on the Gladiators too.
That being said, let's jump over to let's jump over to whatever that was. I messed that up. That's the wrong button. I bet we heard Gunny there for a second. To Nate's great plays of the week, as you see, week 4, Florida at LA at the Full Moon Coliseum. There's probably more than one way you could take that, I'm guessing. But Nate, let's pound out these. How many plays you got tonight? I don't even know what it is.
5.
5?
Total of 5.
All right, well, let's check out these top 5 plays from the Florida at LA game.
At number 5, safety Rochelle Colston with an interception late in this ball game.
Oh, sorry. I probably should have played this while you were talking. My bad.
Jeez.
Yeah,
It's like your first time.
Dude, it's only my 4th show, man. Come on.
And a field goal all in the first half. They stepped up big in the second half, but we saw this last week. Florida's defense was just dominating against Carolina, and they're dominating once again today.
It's a long snap count.
Play action, going for that first down. And that one is picked. 4th pick thrown by Cochran. Rochelle Colston going the other way and sets the LA Lycans up with a first down and 10 inside the red zone.
They were in a cover 3 on that one.
Yeah, that was a great interception, and we all know Ray's a beast back there anyway, so I'm not surprised that she got a pick in this game, Nate. Number 4.
Just a heads up, the missus just told me not to give you a hard time anymore, so I'll let you off the hook.
To give who a hard time?
She said, "Don't give you a hard time."
Me?
Yeah.
Do you give me a hard time?
She said she said that she thought I was giving you a hard time for being a rookie at doing this whole.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
We need to have a drinking game that every time Nate says Kendra, everybody has to drink.
Oh,
hey,
so I'm going to drink.
Kendra. I'm good with that. Go ahead.
All right. Hold on. I guess I better do this too. Hold on.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's go. Number 4. Moving on. Just when you thought LA was out of the game, this happened on an amazing special teams play.
What's up, Marco Swift in the chat?
This is step 1 to the master plan.
Ems kicks it.
interception.
And it's gobbled and recovered by the Lycans. LA got the ball back, Matt.
Man, you never see that, right? I mean, it's like,
Right.
what do you think it is? One out of every, 20, 30, 40, 50 they actually recovered? It's got to be astronomical.
Oh yeah, you
One out
gotta
of
think
20
The odds go up
Yeah.
if there's a big lead.
Is that what it is?
Sorry, nothing. I didn't say anything.
Hey, real quick.
5-second rule.
Real quick.
5-second rule. Yeah, nothing.
Hey, real quick, Axel Raven in the chat says we will drink 2 times for every "Are you muted, bro?" Bro, we would mute up on purpose just to see you get drunk. But real quick, this was actually an 18-yard reception by Bullet, not a 10-yard. That's just a typo. So Nate, go ahead.
I think you meant 10 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's happened. So Bullet had this amazing reception for a touchdown. Actually, was it for a touchdown?
No.
Can't remember.
No.
No, it wasn't for a touchdown. No, the reason that it's number 3, though, is because this amazing spin
The
move he
spin.
pulled off.
Yeah, I saw that. Here we go, number 3.
455 on this one.
With 4 interceptions last week, and a lot of them were off of those deep passes down the sideline, just falling too short. We've already seen one here in this one in the first quarter. Cochran in the gun, gets this one out to Boletsky. Boletsky spins past the defender and passed inside the 20-yard line.
The
Tackled
amazing thing
at the
about that is that
14.
Brackett is a hell of a football player. So that's an even more impressive move.
Yeah, that was super impressive. Eddie Gage in the house, folks. What's up, Eddie? All right, Nate, number 2 play from the Florida-LA game.
With 25 seconds left in the first quarter, Evan Carroll with this amazing interception on defense. And return to go along with it.
We'll see what they do on this one. Richardson back to throw deep down the left-hand side, and that one's taken away. Returning it the other way past midfield to the 40, to
As
the
Matt
30,
Wilson
almost
said, he was screaming
tackled
down the side.
by Terrence Wary, but all the
was
way
sweet.
down to the 32-yard
That was a
line.
huge play
What
for us. 'Cause
a
we had
turn of
just,
events.
been intercepted by them. Ron was just intercepted by them, so that was huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoever it was in the chat that said timing, man, right? I think it was Axel Raven. All right, Nate, I think that everybody in the SFL knew what number 1 was going to be, but go ahead.
Yeah, everybody knew what number 1 was going to be, but we're going to say it anyways. Ron Cochran to E.J. Minsett, last play of the first half. Why not just throw a Hail Mary and go up 3 scores at halftime?
I mean, hell, you got 1 second.
Formation once
We
again.
practice this every week anyway.
Ron Cochran, he ain't afraid. He's back in the gun. High snap. Looks, has time. He uncorks one, Matt, going towards the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown. My goodness. That's why Art Vandelay keeps him on the field, Matt. He says, Minson, go get it. Cochran uncorks it. Minson gets it. Touchdown. The Storm extend their lead.
Cochran wound up
Just the
through it.
airtime he
and
got
boy,
under
that's
that
a
thing.
pass
Look
of
at
beauty.
him.
One-on-one, and Minson just reaches out and grabs
Minson had
it
his eyes
right
on
into
the
the
thing the
end
whole
zone.
way.
Yeah, who's
It was a
27?
strike.
Who's number 27 for LA? I think they could have probably picked that off, but I guess just a bad angle or something. Art, as you look back and see all those plays, those top 5 plays, which one was your favorite?
That'll be the Hail Mary there at the end, and that put us over the top there, secured a bigger lead for us, and made me a little more comfortable going into the second half for sure.
I mean, you rarely ever see a Hail Mary. You rarely see an onside kick recovered, and you pulled them both off in the same game. What's the secret? You want to pass some info or something, Art, or what?
No, we got the onside recovered against us. So
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, but still, 2 of those things in the same game. What are the
yeah,
odds?
we'll take the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
We'll take the Hail Mary. for
Yeah,
sure.
and the odds of that happening are just crazy. Looks like Sully's back in with us. Sully, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, man.
There you go. Perfect. Glad to have you back on the show. We kind of went through most of the segment, but we do want to ask you a couple questions. First and foremost, just kind of give us your overall thoughts about that Florida LA game this past weekend.
It was like getting taken behind the woodshed and slapped around really good. I don't know, because I started up my Rise of the Lycans podcast, and it was a long podcast, basically titled "Can We Talk?" And like all of my feelings were just on that one. It's just like I said before when I was on the show, you gotta throw some different stuff. And we looked like we didn't know what we were doing out there.
Yeah, the interesting thing, and I don't know if you can see the screen or not, the fact that both you and Cochran threw 4 touchdowns. You and I talked about this last week, along with the panelists, that you mentioned about needing to keep your interceptions down, but in this game it kind of almost didn't matter, right? 4-4 is pretty much the same thing as 0-0, I guess, depending on the situation. Are you just kind of bummed that you guys weren't able to take the opportunity from your 4 interceptions in Florida was?
Most definitely. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like if your defense gives you numerous opportunities, and like you might as well just give up. That's how it was. We like every time we got a turnover, it was a 3 and out, or we turned the ball back over. The difference between us and the Storm, because this is our second time facing them. The first time was in our first season, which was I think season 16. They have a methodical offense, and if you don't have the correct scheme, or if you get stuck in a certain like zone package or whatever, they'll just dunk it all the way down the field. So I mean, that's basically what happened. They were methodical,
right?
To the point where it's boring.
Right.
It's boring, but it gets the job done. So, like, how the hell can you fight against that? I can say the plays were in the playbook, but they just weren't getting called.
Right. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty to pull the W, obviously. Charles, Nate, Bo, any of you guys have questions for Sully about the game, how things went down, his performance, what have you? I waited while they're thinking of that, Sully, let me ask you this other question. When you guys recovered the onside kick, did you think you still had a chance?
I'll be 100%. I'll be, as they say down in the South, I'll be 21 with you. No. No. I like to, and all my teammates, like everybody know, I'm not going to hold any punches. I knew we were going to lose.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to lose, like, when the game starts out like that. And because I think I used to have a fourth quarter comeback, but we called it fourth quarter turnover. Because every time that we came to the fourth quarter, we marched down the field and I turned the ball over. So we took that off of me, and it's basically we're still going through the same thing. So I didn't really have any faith. I was excited, but I had to temper my expectations because we know this game.
Right.
We all know this game.
Right.
So, I mean, I didn't have any faith in us winning when I saw the theatrics out there.
Sully, let me come back to you in a second. Art, let me ask you the same question. I meant to ask you this. On that, when LA recovered the onside kick, were you worried? Do you think that maybe, here comes, here they come, and, one of those crazy endings that the SFL is famous for?
Yeah, I mean, you're always worried about something like that because you've seen it happen before. I think we had enough of a lead where it was really difficult and a lot of things had to come together for it to happen. But, you're worried, shit, one of those not this again type of thing situations. Right. So,
Right. Back to the panel. Anybody got anything for Sully Richardson before we let him and Art go?
Sully, this is Charles. Your partner in the rookie draft, man. I don't know if you remember, but way back when.
I remember.
Hey, so your team's 1-3. Have you had any, like internal come to Jesus meetings, or I don't need to know what y'all talked about, but has there been anything different? Any reaction on the record, or what do y'all plan on doing to get back on the winning track?
We're just going back to the drawing board. I mean, we've had talks, but we get we all know what the definition of insanity is, and that's basically we can't go into after this bye week with the same philosophy. We got to change things up. Like there are bright spots. We have a really good running back, but he's not running. And we have good wide receivers. Like I'll say like this: if you don't have a good offensive line, there's no need to do like just one step drop backs passes. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta take advantage of what you have, like the players that you have. Oh yeah, we've talked and we're going back to the drawing board offensively and defensively, and you know what I'm saying, trying to put a better product on the field.
Nice. All right, Sully, thanks for coming back on. I'm glad we were able to figure out whatever that tech issue was when you first jumped on. Art Vandelay, thanks for being on as well. Good luck to both of you guys, both your teams, both your players, and the coach for you, Art, for the rest of the season. Thanks again for being on.
Thank you, and Charles, please wear a charming bathrobe next time.
That's in
smoking
the
jacket.
SFL Hall of Fame.
That's right. Dude, it should be in the SFL Hall of Fame, along with that cardboard hat you made. That would be bomb. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. That was Art Vandelay, head coach for Florida. Sully Richardson, the quarterback for L.A. Wrapping up this segment. Florida beating L.A. 24-10 this past weekend. We just wrapped up Nate's great plays of the week, his 5 plays. So, Nate, thank you as well for doing those. And we'll see you next week as well. Or we'll hear you next week, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll hear me with our Houston game top plays.
There you go. All right, bro. All right, folks. That brings us to...
Can you? Yeah, you! It's time for mail call!
You know what it is. It's Gunny's mail call. Gunny, where you at? Are you here?
I'm here.
All right, perfect. So for those of you who have not tuned in before or may not remember, Gunny's mail call is where Gunny will talk anywhere, I don't know, about 1 to 3 different players on Lone Star to kind of let the general public, the SFL nation, know a little bit more about these players and the person or the people behind the players. So Gunny, take it away.
Good evening, everyone, and good luck to everyone in Week 5 action. Now on to a few good men from the Lone Star Glory. First up, we have Season 14 non-contract defensive tackle that played for the Seattle Tyrants, and he signed to play in the SFL on January 24, 2020, none other than Ace Finnick, our quarterback. He played for the San Jose Flight in Season 1 of the SFL Minor League, and he is the first ever draftee in Lone Star Glory franchise history. He was drafted the first round, 6th overall pick of the Season 15 draft. Some stats for Ace: completions 1,123, attempts 1,572, passing yards 11,807, passing TDs would be 81. Next up, we have his younger brother, Deuce Finnick, wide receiver. He came to the SFL in Season 2. He played for the Ottawa Cavalry in Season 2 of the minor leagues. Stats-wise for Deuce, receptions 128, receiving yards 1,518, targets 165. He has 12 touchdown passes from the Ace to Deuce combination. He was a Season 16 draft choice, first round, 15th overall. And third, another of the Finnick family is Ziggy Hronick. He is the son-in-law of Ace. He was drafted in Season 16 by the DC Dragons as a tight end. He played in the Season 2 minor league for the Tacoma Grizzlies. As a Lone Star Glory, he has 21 receptions, 358 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns off of 37 targets. Also, some of the contributions that these gentlemen make to Lone Star Glory. Ace contributes to the team are as following: team video content creator, franchise record bookkeeper, and the creator of the locker room motivational game day quote. Ziggy also assists with team stats and video content. Deuce is a member of the SFL stats team and helped out our own Ike McBride last season. All three of these gentlemen come to the SFL by the way of the state of Michigan. Ace has 6 kids, 3 girls, 3 boys. Deuce has 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. Ziggy, none for now, but Ace is hoping to be to be granddad someday soon. Here at Loons, also there is another Finnick in the SFL. He is Matt Finnick. He is a kicker for the Denver Nightwings. Also, at one time, there was a Trey Finnick. He played 1 minor league season, but I don't believe he ever was drafted that season. Here at Lone Star, we call the Finnicks the most glorious family of the SFL. Everyone, see you in Houston this weekend. Good luck, Glory. Good luck, Hyenas. That is all.
Awesome, Gunny. Thank you so much. Charles, that's a lot of kids, bro.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm exhausted.
I think Ziggy's got it right. I think Ziggy's the only one who's got it right.
Yeah, Ziggy's got to get to work.
Oh, that's hilarious. Gunny,
It's Valentine's Day. You never know.
Oh, hey, yo.
Coming up.
Well, let's see what happens on the show in October. All right, Gunny, thank you so much again. Appreciate you. We are moving on, folks. The next segment, we go back to another friend of Lone Star from around the SFL, and you were used to hearing his name all the time. You're used to hearing his voice all the time. He's been with us from way back in the day, back from when we were doing shows. Even before Access Live, he was around. So everybody give a warm welcome to Frank the Franchise Wade. Frank, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Dave. How are you and the rest of the Glory doing this evening?
We're doing outstanding, bro. Now, we got a tough game against Houston. We have to travel to Houston. We were fortunate enough to win that game last season, but they've taken care of us, I think, the couple seasons prior. So it's definitely going to be a good matchup. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this Houston Hyena franchise?
Well, the franchise is without Warren Murray. I'll mention that here later on, and I think that's who kind of hurt you the past couple of times. But this weekend, Glory travels to Houston to take on the Hyenas. The Houston franchise started in season 6. They finished with a 7-5 record, made it to the championship game in that first season, lost to Queen City, who was pulling off their 3rd championship in a row. They made the playoffs 7 seasons out of 7 seasons total. Since season 6, they're averaging about 6 wins per season. Their best season was in season 11 when they went 8-4. That's when they got good production from veteran wide receiver Dr. Sims. He had over 1,100 yards in receptions, 11 touchdowns, and he's been the mainstay for the Hyenas since season 6. He has 13,562 career receiving yards.
Wow.
862 receptions and 91 touchdowns. His average, he averages almost 8 touchdowns a season. Longtime running back Warren Murray decided to hang up his cleats after season 17. They lost veteran quarterback Kentez Johnson a couple of seasons ago, so they've been rebuilding here as of late. Other than Sims, they have 3 players that have been with the team longer than 3 seasons, and that's free safety Brady Clark, linebacker Alex Perez, and strong safety Ethan Kai. They all joined Houston in season 14. This is a team with a lot of youth. The good sign is that they've been able to keep most of their talent from the past 2 drafts. So far in season 18, they've put up 47 points in week 1, but have dropped their next 2 games while scoring only 21 points total. I don't know if they want to get in a shootout with LSG in that Soto offense.
Interesting. Yeah, I think week 3, they had a bye this week, right? And then week 3 they beat Queen City, I think, was it? Or I can't remember in week 3. I think they played pretty well, but we're definitely
correct. You're correct, Dave.
Okay, so Queen City was week 3, not week 1.
Yeah.
So So in week 1 and week 2, they combined for 21 points, and then in week 3 they scored 47.
There you go. Yeah, they did really turn it on against Queen City. Hopefully, we won't see that Houston offense this week. All right, Frank, I appreciate you as always, bro. Thanks for all the info and the detail, and we'll see you next week.
All right, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. So that brings us to the Lone Star at Houston preview. And in a moment, I'll bring on a couple hyenas to talk to, and we've got a couple clips that we want to look at as well. But before we do, let me go around the panel real quick. I'll start with you, Charles. Charles, up until last season, Houston had given us fits since season 15 as Lone Star. They're a different team. We're a different team. How do you see things panning out this week? And without giving too much away, how are Sims going so far?
Wow. The Sims are going okay. I mean, they're going okay. The thing about Houston is they have a lot of plays that they like to use. I mean, so it's kind of hard to narrow down what you think they're going to throw at you. So you kind of have to go through all the different scenarios and make sure you got it all covered. But the thing that sticks out to me is you've got a new quarterback. I think Burr, is that his first year, Burr?
I think it's his second. I think it's second year.
Second year. He doesn't have any animations, and he's not. I mean, he's upside down on the touchdown interception ratio, but he's not doing a bad job for a quarterback that doesn't have a animation. So hats off to Dave Burr, but also Brad Jones is holding his own as well. So it's scary because DR Sim's been quiet as well this season, I think. And I think he's waiting for that one game to explode, and I hope it's not against us because he is a beast, especially late in the game. You think you got him covered all game. You're like, hey, we're doing a good job against him, and then he gets like 2 deep passes for touchdowns in the late fourth quarter. So, there's I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say they're very good. They played well against Queen City last week, and you can't go to sleep on them.
Yeah, 47-34 was that final score in week 3. They had a bye with us in week 4, but I'm trying to look it up right now. Houston, Brad Jones, 22 carries, 154 yards and a touchdown. So, Nate, when you think of Houston, you used to think of obviously you think of DR Sim on the offensive side. Of course, you used to think of Warren Murray. But Brad Jones, I think, has done a great job replacing Warren Murray. You as a defensive player, as you look at this formidable offense here, who do you try to key on? I know they got Cal Finnemore too. What do you try to do as a defense to try to really, what do you key on when you play Houston?
You try to key on everything. I mean, you gotta have your head on a swivel against this team. Honestly, because they can, like Charles said, they can throw anything at you. You got to be ready for anything. So whether they go over the top to Finnemore or Sim, or they try to get Brad Jones going, you just have to be ready to stop whatever weapons they might throw at you that particular game, and hopefully that you'll come out on the right end of things. If there's one thing that is kind of a plus side for us, we have common opponents now with Houston and us because we both Queen City this season, and if I remember correctly, we beat Queen City 35-16, if I remember correctly,
something like that.
So we didn't allow as many points scored against us. Queen City only got 16 points against us. However, Queen City was able to score 34 against Houston. So Houston's defense will give up some points. I just hoping they'll give up enough for us to get the victory on Saturday.
Yeah, it was 35-17, so you were really close on that. Bo, let me ask you. You are Lone Star's #1 corner, and you are going up against one of the best receivers to ever play in the SFL. How are you feeling about this weekend?
You know what, Dave? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. DR. Okay, I don't know how to say it without it sounding like gas, so I'm gonna just say it. DR is a legend in the SFL. Okay, so it's like to be on the other side of him is an honor, first of all. But I'm gonna get that out of the way early in the game because I got a job to do, right? So being CB1, it's my job to try to contain this guy. This guy that just went off last week for 177 yards, Dave, on 7 receptions. Okay, so you can't blink because if you blink, next thing you know, he'll be behind you and he'll be down the field for a score. So it's my job this weekend to shut him down. As much of a legend as he is, I got to shut him down, Dave.
Yeah.
Or at least I got to do my best to try to. But the key is to just it's kind of like the movie where they say you can't hope to defeat him, you can only hope to contain him, or
right.
however that phrase goes. To me, I would consider it a victory if I can keep him under 100 yards receiving. So that's my goal, or that's what I'd like to do this weekend against DR. We got to really, Charles mentioned on it briefly, but we also got to keep an eye on Brad Jones. He's done a really good job stepping in for Warren Murray, like you referenced earlier. That can be overlooked. The guy had over 200 yards, total yards last week. So let's not pretend that's not an adequate replacement for Warren Murray.
Yeah.
They had a couple of bad breaks early in the season. They rebounded nicely with Queen City, and now they've got that taste of victory. And so, of course, with us being an in-state rival, we know they're coming for blood, so we got to be ready.
Well, we're about to bring in Marco Swift and David Horrell in just a moment, but before we do, let's check out this clip with a couple plays from Houston in Week 3.
Caswell looking to throw. Right side. That one's intercepted. Back the other way. And this could turn into a score. And it will. What a play. What a drive. Back downfield. Houston with a pick 6.
Hyenas. To say they've come alive in this game has been an absolute understatement. Now, there's still a whole half of football to play, Chris. But this has to be one of the most dominant first half performances I've seen.
Looking to throw it. Caswell left, deep, and that one's picked off. Back towards midfield, not an ideal way to end the first half.
Well, we've got we talked about their offense, but we're definitely going to have to look out and talk about their defense. We've got Marco Swift in the house, although he keeps jumping out, so I don't know if he's having technical issues as well. So while we try to get that, this is the game I mixed up, Nate. I think one of the defenders in Week 3 against Queen City, one of the Houston defenders, had 3 interceptions. They had 4 total, and I think one of their DBs had 3. And I cannot keep Marco Swift into the correct room. He keeps jumping out for some reason. Gunny, if Marco jumps out again, can you try putting him in and see if that makes a difference? And I don't see David Horrell anymore either. Nate, do you know who the DB from Houston was that had
Brady Clark?
Was it?
Yeah, it was Brady Clark.
Clark has 4, so
yeah, I believe he had 3 in that game, and they had 4 total. I'm hoping we're going to be able to talk to these Houston peeps, but they keep jumping out of the chat for one reason.
Just something Bo said.
Yeah, it's always Bo. Real quick, just maybe 30 seconds each. We've talked about the obvious things for Houston on the offense, but they've got great DBs. They've got a lot of interceptions already. Charles, for a team like us that likes to throw the ball, that could be a little hazardous for us.
I can't go into any details, but with certain things you can do, let's hope what we do works.
David or Marco, can you hear me? Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Can you hear me now? David and Marco, you're both muted. Maybe that could be the problem.
Oh,
if you guys
crap. Here we go.
You're muted, bro. All right, Axel Raven, time to drink. Hold on. David, you are muted
twice
still.
or once?
He has to drink twice. If you say it once, he has to drink twice.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Let's see. Gunny's going to try to take Marco into the room. I don't know what's going on. Why?
Bo has the nuclear fallout shelter mug over there. What the heck?
Oh, that's amazing. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Gunny. I think Gunny's talking to Marco. David Harrell, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Dave.
Oh, there you go. Were you guys having a hard time hearing, or what was going on there?
No, I was getting double audio, so I had to bounce out and get back in.
Oh, okay. Do you have Twitch on in the background or anything by any chance? I could echo it too.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I'm not. It just started all of a sudden. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it comes
Well,
from.
either way, we are glad that you finally made it here. We're happy to have you on the show.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I don't know how much you heard of us talking about not just your defense, your defensive backs that are just picking off everything right now, but your running back replacement for Warren Murray, Dr. Sim, like the whole package over there in Houston. Just give us an overview real quick about how you feel like your season's going so far.
Well, we're happy with it. We got off to a little bit of a rocky start. Time you lose to Baltimore and DC, you shouldn't really hang your head. We were more concerned with the point output. That was a little disappointing to us, but we kicked and scratched and fought a little bit in the locker room and trying to work some things out, and we're coming together. We like where we're at. We've got a young team, up and coming team. If we could keep everybody together, keep the pieces together, I think we've got a really good future.
I know that obviously everybody knows that you're a linebacker, I believe, right, for Houston. But are you doing coaching or scouting or something for Houston now too?
I scout. I do a lot of scouting. I do help Damon with running sims, doing some coaching. Yes, that's a passion for me. I spend a lot of time doing that. In fact, I'll make a confession. Almost every time you're on, my plan is to watch and to be on your to be involved with your show in some way. But I find that I was game planning or watching tape and I just miss it. But I enjoy the show.
That's okay. I mean, you know what? Most people watch it afterwards on video anyway, so it's no worries there, David, at all.
I do that. Yeah, I do that.
Hey, before I throw you to the Wolves here, and by the Wolves I mean the panel, to ask you some questions. What do you think about our matchup this weekend? I mean, if you ask me, it looks like it could definitely be a barn burner for sure. But what's your how are you looking at things?
The same way. We anticipate a very close game. We personally, I've never beat LSG, and it's a goal of mine to do it this week. I'm sure my family from Fort Worth don't want me to bring this up, but I had an offer when I was at Fort Worth.
That's right. Yeah.
It's my goal to take you guys down this week. whether that happens or not, that remains to be seen.
So you just
it is going to be a heck of a contest.
We don't like that goal of yours.
We don't like that goal. Gunny says we don't like that
goal of yours.
Okay.
So David, you just joined Houston last season, then, correct?
This is my first.
This is your first. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, real quick, Marco Swift, are you with us now? I see you in here. You're muted, but I see you. Marco, are you able to talk? Looks like Marco.
I know he's been having some issues.
Yeah, it looks like it. Discord is a touchy thing. While we try to get Marco on, Charles, you got anything for David?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Thanks for coming on, David.
Charles.
I appreciate it, man.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
And you and your family are great for the league, and I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you saying that.
With that, I'm going to ask you a tough, probing question. During the game, when things aren't working out on defense, does KT ever look over at you and say, "Dave, I'm tired of carrying you"?
She does. She reminds me constantly that not only am I not the best linebacker in the league, I'm not even the best linebacker in the house.
I'm just messing with you, man.
Yes. She does. She's a ball buster. What can I tell you?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. Nate, you got anything for David?
Hey, Nate.
Hey, how you doing? We came up
Doing
kind
well.
of together. Together in the SFL minor league. So nice to see you again, obviously, and looking forward to going up against your team on Saturday. You got the whole family. You got KT with you there on.
That was a goal of ours. We were thrilled to be able to get the opportunity to play together.
It's coming more of a theme, I think, in this league. I just love to see it. But what if you? So you said you're a scouter. You've been scouting games um, for Houston. Um, without getting into any specifics, obviously, what's the how much time a week do you usually scout games?
Scouting, probably 5 hours.
5 hours a week.
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
Maybe a little more. I'm retired. I have plenty of time. So, and this is a passion of mine. So, in fact, I kind of lose track of time, to be honest with you.
I just like to know what kind of persistence I'm going up against on this Saturday. So.
I got you. I got you.
Nice.
One of those backdoor questions.
There you go. Bo, what do you got for him, for David?
I got a family question for you, Dave.
Okay.
David, between you and KT.
Dave's fine.
And this is a kind of a personal challenge here between you and KT, right? And I don't know if you know this, but J Mart is my nephew. So between you and KT,
I did not.
Between you and KT and me and J Mart, who has a better game this weekend?
Ooh.
Well, I'm pulling for KT, and I want me to be next.
Between which family has a better game this weekend?
Well, that's the Harrells for sure. That's the Harrells. That's got to be the Harrells.
Dude, he didn't even hesitate, Bo.
No, of course not.
I would expect nothing less.
Talk is cheap, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Now you just got to put it. Now you just got to stick to it because you know J Mart at linebacker, he's coming with it, and me on the corner. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Yes,
it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's try Marco one more time. He's back in there. I see him. He is muted, but let's see if he's able to unmute and talk on the show. Marco Swift, are you with us? Oh, he unmuted, but I do not hear him. There he is. Yeah, I don't hear him though. Can anybody else hear him? No,
I don't.
It's probably not.
He was having computer problems, and he was trying to make it work on his phone. I guess he's still.
David, can you play the role of Marco Swift?
Yeah, sure. Just ask him some questions. I'll answer.
There you go. Hey, Marco. Thanks for joining the show. The Houston DBs
Happy to be here.
Those Houston DBs are something else. You've got one with 3 interceptions already. You guys put 4 up in one game. What do you contribute most of your defensive back success to?
Ooh, well, now I can't be answering that. Ask me that next week, Dave.
I thought you were going to say, to our scout, David Horrell.
Well, there you go. That's my answer. I like that one.
That's great. David.
David Harrell has been scouting since he was a non-contract season 14 player for the Carolina Skyhawks. He was also went to the Birmingham Fuel, and he was the #1 draft pick.
Oh, that's right.
In the season 15 draft.
Yeah, that was the crazy draft, right?
Thank you, Gunny. Thank you. I like that.
Look at that. David, last question for you. If we don't get Marco, we'll see if we can get him on next week after the game. Okay. Last question. Prediction for this weekend. Give me a score or give me a spread, something.
27-24.
LSG.
Wow, thank you.
Houston. There must have been a hiccup there.
Yeah, you did. You paused for a second, bro. You gave me that opening. I had to take it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. My fault. I didn't mean to pause.
No worries at all. David, give our best to KT. Thanks for coming on the show. Please let Marco know that he's more than welcome to jump back on next Wednesday if he's able to, and we can make that make up for
small fee.
Sounds good. I'd love to come back. Holler at me anytime.
All right, sounds great, David. Thank you, David Horrell, linebacker and scout for Houston. Last calling for Marco Swift. Marco Swift, can you hear me? Marco Swift, can you hear me? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, we will try to get Marco Swift back on next week, but let's move on to our next segment as I am trying really hard to wrap this up in the next 20 minutes. And that is What's Up Down South, Yogi. And Yogi, first of all, are you with us? I hope you're with us.
I am with you, Dave.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. I love when you're with me. Bro, so we had 2 teams with byes, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the other 2 lost. So not a great weekend for the Tex-Mex division.
No, and the records are starting to show it, too.
Well, tell us all about it, bro.
Well, I hate to let Charles down, but I was watching games on this weekend because I had to get ready for this segment, so I did let him down. Mexico played D.C. I guess D.C.'s just making a career out of this season playing the Tex-Mex division. Mexico wasn't even in that game. D.C. dominated. I hope Kevin Say's still here. I know you told him we weren't going to talk about him, but he is the newest human joystick. He's unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
I think he scored 3 more touchdowns on our bye week against us.
Wow.
He went off again. He's having a career year this year. The other game was Fort Worth at QCC, and QCC ripped the heart out of Fort Worth at the very end of the game and stole the game from them. Fort Worth played a great game, but it just wasn't enough. And their problem was Amelia Rose was 5 for 5 on field goals. You can't keep kicking field goals in this league and win games. That's a bad thing.
Right.
Bad habit to get into. It was a harder, easier week, whatever you want to look at it, to pick players of the week because he only had 2 games. But I'll have to give it to Matt Wilson this week at quarterback. He was 32 of 44 with 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 385 yards. The running back will definitely have to go to Jason Williams. He was 42 carries, 118 yards, and a touchdown, and he chipped in with another 5 receptions for 29 yards. The receiver, I got to go with Bill Henry, the tight end for Mexico City, was the number 1 receiver, 4 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And the defender was Ben Charbs, strong safety. And what I had written down earlier changed between where I watched it earlier and what's on the stats. They have it at 9 tackles, 5 assists, and 2 pass deflections. And I guess I'll throw in special teamer of the week was Amelia Rose, 5 for 5 field goals with a long of 50.
There you go.
That brings our records to Lone Star Glory. Well, you got them up on the board, 2-1. Mexico 2-2. Houston's 1-2, and you know they're looking for that second win.
Yeah, they are.
And looking forward to the game, and good luck to both teams.
Hey,
Bo, we need you for 4 quarters this week, brother.
Hey, I'm icing it up right now. That twisted knee ain't easy to come back from, but Coach said I should be ready to go.
Yeah. Can I ask 2 questions of Yogi before he goes?
Yeah, of course.
Yogi, 2 things. First of all, is spearfishing your favorite form of fishing, or?
Yes, it's one of my favorites. That and snorkel fishing. Yes.
Okay.
Now, I do want to. Now, since you started and opened this door, I want to comment about your hat last week that Bullet brought up. That the reason he was checked into by the FBI was because he was found to be partying with the Island Boys after the show last week.
Oh, snap.
Am I supposed to know who they are?
You don't need to.
It's okay. It's okay. See, look he's keeping up the facade. Who are they? Who are the Island
But
Boys?
then the next question is, I'm getting a lot of DMs asking when the Yogi calendar is coming out.
Oh, we're working on it. We'll get it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Nice. Yogi, last question before you go.
Yes, sir.
We're 1/3 of the way through the season. We've talked a lot about Kevin Say the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of other great players in this league, but 1/3 of the way through the season, way too early to call. Is he your early MVP candidate?
He's one of. Yeah, he's right up there. You got to put Wigmore in the conversation, but yeah, I'd say those 2 are neck and neck right now.
All right, sounds good. All right, Yogi, thanks for coming back again. What's up down south, Yogi, every week to let us know what's going on in the Tex-Mex division. Yogi, thanks for coming back, bro, again, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, take it easy. All right, folks, one more segment before we start wrapping things up, and you know what it is. You know what it is. It's going to be Mr. Mike all that, and a bag o' chips. And for those of you who don't know, Mike is allowed to talk about anything he wants to on the show. I don't ask. He doesn't tell. Hey-o. And their only prerequisite is that every time he comes on the show, he's got to be eating chips. So let's see what Mike is eating this week. And what are those ripples? I've never even heard of those, bro.
So, Dave, it's actually Old Dutch potato chips. I don't know if you're familiar with the brand.
I am not. Is that a Midwest thing or something? Or
it might be, you know, the good land.
Okay.
But it's a rippled kind of chip. But it's barbecue pulled pork wrap. Okay, I'm gonna give you a better.
Yeah. Now it sounds good, but how does it taste, bro?
It tastes like barbecue pulled pork, my friend.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
with potatoes, obviously.
With what? Yeah, obviously. Okay. Well, damn. All right. Well, we know what chip you're eating. What do you got going on tonight? What are we going to talk about?
I had one quick question before we get started.
Okay.
Based on what Yogi just said about the fishing he likes to do, how do you catch a fish with a snorkel? That's what I want to know.
I don't think that's what he meant.
Oh, that's how I took it.
Okay. I mean, well, it makes sense when you combine it with spear fishing right beforehand, right?
Sure,
Quick
yeah.
hands, quick hands, Mike. Quick hands.
Gotcha.
Hey.
But yeah, so watching the games this weekend, you know, they got the crawl underneath there now. And I noticed that Cam inserted into there that if we get enough players in the minors, there's possible team expansion again.
Ooh.
So I was actually talking about it with my friend Ross Napoli, the editor of Swamp Talk, and he ran the numbers. If we get at least 98 non-two-way contract players in the minors, we could not only expand to 2 more teams, we could expand the rosters to 25 as well, Dave.
Interesting. So I'm going to let the panel talk first about this. I have some opinions on both of those things, but I don't want to taint what the panel may say. So, Charles, let's start with you. Like we said, we had a bye week, so we weren't quite as in tune this past week as we normally are. So we probably didn't hear that. Roster expansion. Well, Mike, actually, before I go to Charles, do we know how many players we have in the minors right now, like signed up?
I want to say it's somewhere untethered. I want to say it's somewhere around 40, I think, but I don't have the exact number.
So we need to more than double what we have in there right now.
Yeah, and we still got time, Dave.
Yeah,
we're a quarter of the season, so
okay.
Yeah.
Charles, roster expansion, team expansion, both, one or the other. What are your thoughts? What do you prefer? And what do you think is going to happen?
I'm open to it as long as it's planned out effectively.
All of the above?
Well, I mean, you start going down the road of expanding your roster. The league is talking about things involving substitution. And
yeah, I heard about that too.
Just need to hear more about that and what kind of testing's done. And it would be nice to see what testing was done and what the results are before the decision is rolled out, or when the decision is rolled out, so the customers can know what was put behind it and can support it.
Okay. Nate Hall, roster expansion, team expansion, feelings on one, both, one or the other. What do you got?
I don't really have anything on team expansion, but roster expansion, I heard a couple of things about this week on different shows. One game in particular for this past weekend happened to where their starting running back went down, and that's part of the reason why they lost their game. Well, Tyler made a good point on one of his shows this past week that if more teams were able to draft an extra running back as like having a 2 running back system like Louisiana does, then you could have a backup star player ready to go in instead of this other particular team that I was watching didn't have one, and obviously wasn't up to speed and up to par with the starters' abilities.
Who was that team, Nate?
I'm not even going to say it. Don't even. Nope.
Was it you guys?
Nope. Not even going to say it.
Okay.
But
it was Vancouver. I'll say it.
There you go. I knew you would. That's why I didn't have to.
I assume I'm assuming Kendra's listening. That's why I said that, by the way.
Oh shit! I got to drink.
No, she fell asleep on us.
Well, yeah, but is it if anybody says Kendra or when Nate says Kendra, Charles?
That's when anyone on the panel.
Because I just said Kendra like 3 more times.
Unless you abuse it. Unless you abuse it and do machine gun Kendra.
Nope.
Kendra.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm just bringing up the point that if more teams go to 2 running backs sets, then not only will that bring 2 running back sets, but that'll bring like 6, 7 wide receivers that are able to fill in for injuries that may occur later in teams. I could see it happening.
Okay.
It's not too far away.
Well, you know what, Bo, I want to get your opinion, but let me play devil's advocate with Nate, and let me get your take on this too. Yes, that situation would have helped Vancouver, right? If they had a backup running back. But here's the every time I hear the backup player conversation, my very first question is, if I'm going to be a backup or a part-time player, does that mean my subscription is going to be less? I don't want to pay full-time money for not full-time play. Am I being unreasonable, or is it
No,
do you think there's a workaround for that, or what do you think?
That's a very valid point, and it's something that the top officials of this league will have to discuss later on when it comes to that. Because that's if I were a player and only playing maybe 1 or 2 games a season because of a freak accident injury, I'm not paying full price to participate when I'm only given 10% the entire season. So there's got to be some sort of discount or something involved with your subscription to where it would meet what you're actually providing on the field.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Bo his take on all that as well.
Yeah, so I would speak more about the team expansion. I'm all for the team expansion as long as we have the bodies to support it. I think that's a much easier decision to be made as far as if you have the people, then you can go ahead and expand the teams. Now, roster expansion, I'm not a fan, and the reason is because of what we were just talking about. If you would have a lot less people faithful to the SFL if they're not in the game. I mean, I suppose if it to your point, Dave, I suppose if I didn't have to pay a subscription, then I could just be, an LSG fanboy and occasionally get in a game as a running back on the rare occasion if Ike McBride goes down. However, if you think about last season, for example, I think Ike maybe went down once the entire season.
Yeah.
And so what that means is if I'm the backup running back, I mean, yes, you'll have those few plays where in the game where I get in, but those are going to be few and far between. I'm not going to be able to be the star of that game unless I gets injured, because she would be the primary back in this scenario. So I don't know many who'd want to pay, at least not pay full price for that particular option. So perhaps there would have to be some sort of pay structure for someone to be a backup. And then there would have to be limitations on how long somebody could be a backup, because you could potentially say, hey, I'm okay with being a backup my whole career if it only going to cost me $10 a season,
Right.
So that kind of opens up an entirely new element to the discussion, and way above my pay grade. But that'd be something that the ownership and the league would have to discuss. But I'm much more trepidatious about the roster expansion than I am about the team expansion.
Okay.
And Dave, if I could piggyback off of that real quick.
Nate, hold on one second. Charles, what did you say? I didn't hear Charles.
I said I got to Google trepidation.
Okay. All right, Nate, go ahead.
I was going to piggyback off of what Bo said, because that's a valid point too. If enough star players see that these, say there is a discounted subscription rate that gets introduced for these backup players, would star players then want to move over to a lesser subscription amount because of whatever reason, and only be a part-timer, sub, what have you, instead of a star player? So instead of being a star player, the league would be running out of star players if that were the case, if people were just moving over just to get a lower rate.
So it remains to be seen if you're a lower paying player, your value should be much lower.
Right.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's what you would think. Before I'm going to throw it back to Mike here in a second and get his opinion on this. But here, just to answer kind of a couple things. I also prefer team expansion over roster expansion. However, one of the things we need to keep in mind, and I know, and I'm sure that this is the case, team expansion is a lot more work for the league, right? Think about all the things you have to do. You have to create a new team. You got all the logos, stuff for the website, more stats, more games, more broadcasters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where roster expansion seems like the easier thing to do, where you just plug in players into teams we already have. The issue I have with that is that then teams are getting saturated, right? We're running out of positions, which means now we have to go to a backup system, which, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to play in a backup situation. And to Nate's point too, I mean, if I'm a backup, and I'm sorry, I don't know who it was, Nate or Bo, that said, or no, I'm sorry, Bo, it was you that said, how many times did Ike get hurt? Well, if I'm the backup running back, Ike only gets hurt once, and all I'm getting is garbage time. Unless I'm on a two-way contract and I'm getting my playing time in the minors, what am I paying for and what am I getting? I'm sure the league has thought about a lot of this stuff, and I'm sure they're going to talk about it or whatever. But for now, with the information that we have, I don't like roster expansion either. I think we're kind of at that point. I've heard rumors that the league might even want to go to 30. And with 30, you have to have backups. So, and are those backup positions only going to be for certain positions? Or am I going to be a backup linebacker in a 4-3? I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions. But for me personally, I understand that roster expansion is easier for the league than team expansion. And I do not like the backup situation. And I think everything that you talk about backups has to go to subscription model and how much are people paying. And is that backup? And if I've been in the league for a while and I've had some good playing time and now I have to share it with a backup, does my subscription go down since my playing time's going down? There's a lot of questions to be answered on this, I think. And Mike, I'll give you the last word since you brought it up and give us your opinion on this whole matter.
Yeah, I mean, you guys all make some good points. How deep into the backup system do we have to go? Because if you look at a normal roster, you got 22 guys, offense and defense. Then you got two more with the kicker and the punter. So you're already at 24. You add that third wide receiver, now you're at 25. You add a slot corner, 26. Dime back, you're now at 27. Like, how deep into backups do we really need to go? Does every position need to have a backup? Because then you're talking about huge rosters.
Yeah.
And you make a good point too about how much more work it is to add teams to the league than just to add players to a roster. But I mean, the NFL has 32 teams. I wouldn't mind.
Well,
a
I think
couple
with the
more teams
league,
here,
I think one of the other things with the league, though, Mike, is I think it's a roster sharing issue, if I'm not mistaken. Right, and they only have so many teams per file, and listen, I get it, but at this point, if it's this big and we're getting that many more players, what's the lesser of two evils? Is it less playing time for the players, or is it more work for the league?
I mean, anything you do is going to add more work for the league in the long run, right? And I definitely don't want to take any playing time away from anybody, whether you're a starter or a backup. I don't want anybody to have to, like Nate said, be out there for 10% of the time.
Right.
But yeah, and talking about the whole subscription issues, that may be a topic in the future that we talk about with certain things, because at what point is the tipping point for how much a subscription is?
Yeah.
Especially with the star positions.
Lots to talk about, even more on this subject. Maybe we'll get some more information from the league, Mike, and we can continue the discussion on another show. But in the meantime, thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing up the topic, and thanks for bringing your bag of chips.
You got it, Dave.
All right. See you next week, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. That was Mike. All that and a bag of chips brought up a great topic that I'm sure we'll be talking about for weeks, if not months, coming up. If you've got opinions, throw them in the chat. Let's talk about them. That segment went a little long, or else I think we might have made it an hour and a half. We're just at that mark right now as we begin to wrap up the show. We like to wrap up every single show the same way. First and foremost, by reminding everyone Evan Lacey went missing on December 17th, 2019. He was found on January 3rd, 2020. They are still looking for his killer. If you have information or you would like to find out more about what's going on with trying to to find his killer and bring all of this to a close, is www.findourmissing.com/EvansHope, or you can go to Facebook and you can go to Find Our Missing Evans Hope. Here at Lone Star, we have a lot of veterans on our team. We respect the military, and especially a company called Objective Zero, who has been partnering now with Lone Star for a few seasons. They help veterans who are contemplating suicide. And as most of you know, my wife is involved with Objective Zero as well. And so it's a very special cause to our heart.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Maybe a future show we could get somebody from maybe your wife on to talk about that again to refresh our memories.
Yeah, I think so. We'll look for maybe we'll look for like a holiday coming up, some kind of military thing, and we can do that. That'd be a good idea. Special thanks this week, Ace Fennick, as always, for videos, Bill Martin Jr., voiceover, Frank the Franchise Wade, Gunny, Bullet Belitsky, Nate Hall, Yogi Bar, Mike All, Fab56 Freddy, who's about to come on here momentarily, Art Vandelay, Marco Swift, David Horrell, who wasn't scheduled when I made this graphic, but thank you to David Horrell also for coming on, and Sully Richardson made it as well. Appreciate all of those. What's on tap next week, folks? Well, this is what we got. We got a game this week at Houston. So, obviously, we're going to recap our Week 5 game against Houston. We'll have some Houston special guests on as well. We will preview our Week 6 game at Mexico City, get some of those Mexico City peeps on as well. And then we've got the regular slate. We got Mail Call with Gunny, Frank's franchise segment, all that in a bag of chips, bullet points, Nate's great plays, What's Up Down South, Yogi, and Fab56, Freddie's farewell, which is about to happen right now, I think. Freddie, what's up?
Good evening, Dave, and great show, great panelists, and let's kick this thing off with Danny Don would say, turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. We'll call it a night, the party's over. Until tomorrow, we'll do the same old thing again. Good night.
All right, Freddie, thank you so much. That wraps up ride number 4 on the road to glory. Thank you, Charles Doherty, Bo Martin Jr., Nate Hall, Frank the Franchise Wade, Yogi Bar, Mike All, Bullet Beletsky, Gunny, of course, Marco Swift, David Horrell, oh gosh, hold on, Art Vandelay, Sully Richardson. Did I say Gunny already? Gunny, Freddie, everybody that makes this show possible. And most importantly, thank you to all of you in the chat, all the party people coming to hang out with Lone Star. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Love the subs in there. We love having the back and forth, the chat, the everything. It's just great. We love having you guys here. So we will see you guys next Wednesday when we talk about all the stuff I just mentioned. In the meantime, we want each and every one of you. We want each and every one of you to have a glorious week. Good luck in your games this weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on this Twitch channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the 5th show on the road to glory. Good night, everybody.